Hello Capricorn, thank you for joining us. This is Rosemary coming to you from ANSARA Angels of Me. This Angelscope is for Capricorn Sun and Capricorn Moon. These are your November 2014 Christian Angel answers from your Capricorn Angel Hanael, who resides over Cardinal Earth. Capricorn leaves October behind, demanding more from what seasonal months have to offer you. Thinking Jack Frost, Rudolph, Dasher, Prancer, Vixen, Comet Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen. They're hazing Santa Claus at the moment. Taking full advantage of the power and allure of the Beaver Moon on the 6th of November. Now, before we get into the shenanigans of these busy little beavers, we just want to say that we've gotten some emails with questions to be read on air. These are from established people. It doesn't have to be people we knew for a long time, but it has to be people who establish a good rapport. Whether they're having readings on the phone, or whether they're having readings in person, or they're coming to the seminars, or they're having it through emails. As long as there's a good rapport, we're happy to answer your questions on the air. We've also done it with people who have won our Angel Answer contests and who got first prize and also consolation prizes. But there's many ways to have this done. But we do have to have a good rapport. Yes? Okay. So somebody had wrote in, and this is Bible URTH 2134. This person asked us. This person said, "My boyfriend has asked me to take the picture of one of my friends, a male friend, and put it in a shoebox with some of his belongings or his hair and bury it in the backyard, saying that this will make this person fall in love with me forever." And this is my boyfriend who's asked, who's asked me to do that, and that this is what this person is concerned about, because she's asking, why is he asking me to do this? Isn't he in love with me? Does that mean he's not in love with me? Okay. There's basically three motivations here that your boyfriend has. And this person I mentioned, they were Capricorn. The motivations are, firstly, to make you question, make you jealous, to make your mind wonder and wonder and wonder about it, because that'll make you think about it, obviously. It's like a Mobius strip that goes on and on and on and on, trying to figure out, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? And then you never get to it. It's like short-circuiting your computer. That's all. So, but there's a little bit more to it than that with this situation. This person is also trying to get something out of this friend of yours, some money, possessions. His eye is on your friend's money, possessions. He wants something physical, like I said. He wants you to get things out of this person for him. Whatever you can. You kind of using you to get things from this person. That's what's happening. And then there's another part of it where he thinks it will be some sort of spiritual, he thinks he's helping you in some way because he thinks you still have feelings for this person. He wants you to, feel like you can, he's trying to also be your sort of spiritual savior by allowing you to have something that you think this person hurt you, like this person broke your heart or something, and this kind of thing. So he thinks he's helping you in some other way. So again, his lower chakra wants things from this person. His heart thinks he's helping you. And then the mind has this thing, well, maybe she'll care about me as much as she cares about him if I do this. And then there's that thing going on with the brain, because he's looking for who might be, taking up your thinking or your emotions. So these are the three different main cauldrons of the body in Taoist alchemy, inner alchemy, and the Tao, inner alchemy, that brings these different aspects out in all of us. We all have these aspects. But that's what's going on. So it's going to bring very bad energy. Very, very bad energy. It'll be nasty energy. Don't do it. We've already done it. Just, throw it away, forget about it, wash your hands of it, be done with it. Just don't deal with it. Okay, doesn't mean you can't deal with the people, just don't deal with it. Okay, continuing now. Back to Hanael's angel transmission. Busy little beavers are building their dams up in the extreme regions with much anticipation of the bitter, wintry flurry of icy rain. Okay, we've said that just to get a running start. Native Americans, true to their autumn rituals, set beaver traps in the 11th month marked by the Latin word revealing the fractal secret number of this month, which is 9. It's factual. When I said fractal, there's also a truth in there that we haven't gotten to yet, but we will. Secrets abound and unfold with the goat. Forever seeking which is correct, 9 or 11 for this month. This month, actually, everybody wants to know where the real truth is in things, in anything. Why is there this truth and this truth and this truth? Isn't there only one reason? No, there isn't. There isn't only one truth. Because if there was only one truth, nothing could exist. You have to have at least 2 in order for something to seek. Otherwise, there's no life. You have to have 2 so there's movement. Otherwise, there's no movement. Point and line. Very simple. Right? From Tether to Hokman. Yes? Okay. Now, ever seeking the goat's mind between 2 numbers and the double mind of the bicameral universe, where the essence of the soul resides within the black hole of time. This information cannot be lost, no matter what Hawking says about the matter, and is ever spewed from the circulating, swarming luminous light, temporarily chained within the depths of darkness at the center of the galaxy. The center of the universe is where there is found the true God, who is the prime consciousness and prime light. We are all shards sprung from when the world soul was shattered. As we bring this world soul back together again, we become God again, not in ourselves, but rather in our relationship to each other, our communion, our common good, our common miracles, bestowing ever gifting from limitless light. Let there be light, fiat lux. Here is found the light in the barren womb of the stony tomb of Lilith. Here is the spark of light formed cleanly and sternly into an entire new being. Now is the time for capturing beavers in sturdy traps before the wetlands freeze over. After all, Capricorn, we must get our winter fur supply before the freeze sets into the trunks of the potent, austere trees that are yearning and longing to be chopped down for Christmas festivities. So we've got to start a little early, they say after Thanksgiving, can start to finally really focus on Christmas time. And this is a very important year to get a tree. Best if it be a real tree that's been chopped down, because that's a better ritual. It's like you kill the turkey at Thanksgiving, that's like Abel, and then you kill the tree at Christmas, that's like Cain, right? You have to do all these rituals. Now, because it's essential for humans to continue. There are 3 gods. You say, who's the real God? What's the real God name? Well, the God at the center of the earth, from where all things sprung. Things spring from within the self, not from without coming in, but from within going out. And that god is, I have to learn how to pronounce it properly, Tahan Sohan, the sort of darkness at the center of the earth, the stillness, in between the stillness and the sound. Then from that is sprung the Yud-He-Vav-He, the Tetragrammaton fire letters come in, and that is in the center of the galaxy. And then we have, from that is born Yud-He Shin-Vav-He, which is Yeshua, Jesus. And that is Jesus Christ, who's the king of the universe, and he's a frozen light at the center of the universe. So, this is the cauldron in the belly, is where Ta-Han Sohan is. It comes from the survival instincts. Then we have the Yahweh here and the Jesus Christ coming from the universal consciousness of Keter. On the bottom is Malkut. Now we can say that that's upside down. And, you know, then we get into all the different systems where we have Saturn here instead of, you know, here. But we're not going to go into all that right now because it's a little complicated. It's a lot of advanced Kabbalah and Tao, and the Tao alchemy, Taoist alchemy. Now, Prime Creator exalts the planet Mercury in November. This is very important. Mercury is going to be very exalted this month of November, and the goat will feel the effects, back to Hannah L's transmission, will feel the effects of Gemini the twins and Virgo the virgin, who are influenced by Mercury, influencing your mental capabilities over the birth of the sun from the house of Libra, bearing its seed, bringing to fruition the 13th rune stone seed Iwas within the house of Scorpio. The runestone of Iwas brings the luck of the princess trapped in the castle of the king for the making of golden thread from simple straw that he provides for her. Now there are obvious children's fairy tales that go with the story. And there's also the story of John Dee and Edward Kelly, who were the Enochian magicians who got their information from Ave for Queen Elizabeth I. This luck penetrates through the portal of the green sun of Vril, remembering the Yazrugil seed of the world tree genetic code, showing the force of the unity of life and death held in the clutches of the sharpened claws of Lilitu. This is her season now. Though sure of eye and hand, lands arrow shot from bow into the very throat of the game board, where sights are lovingly set, for we must love our prey if we are to capture it for a sacrificial Mabon feast. Even in a desolate, frozen wasteland, those with burly arm and razor-sharp eye can hunt and bring to final intention any game allowing family and kin to feast the delight of the 8th rune stone seat of Wunjo, where the goat's happiness is again found in great numbers and overwhelming crowds. Love matters come apart for those not prepared with bounty for family, lovers, and friends alike. So basically, Capricorn, your family depends on you to deliver things to them, be it monies or notoriety or, you know, just bounty with property and just possessions. People count on you. You know, they sort of set you up and give you a good position, and then they expect you to perform. And you do that very well because you're a steady, sure goat that climbs very surely up the cliff. Yes? Problem is, it's coming to the point where you're either going to get sacrificed or you're going to get sort of pushed off the cliff like the Azazel goat. And both of those, you know, one gives you a way out and one sort of doesn't, but one's less painful. So what you need to do is just be aware of that. Up till now, up till right about now, being a goat has been more beneficial than being a lamb. Obviously, because lambs are led to the slaughter, and they're shorn, and they're good, and they're sacrificed, kind of like doves, right? Right now, we're going to get into this a little bit later in Hanael's transmission, but right now, this is not the month to be just a goat. Try to be a little bit more of a lamb this month, and you'll see why as we go along. To be honest with you, I don't know for sure. Well, I kind of do know for sure. Yeah, it's going to last a long time. So this transformation doesn't have to be sudden, but it needs to be done, and it will last a long time. So I suppose you could take your time. Okay, back to the transmission from Hanael. We have to take it in angelic script first, and then we have to transliterate it into English, and then we have to make it understandable. Love matters, everybody's favorite, come apart for you, Capricorn, for those not prepared, as we said. Now, this is due to the spirit of sharing in November is kind of falling prey to, how do we put it, sort of second-guessing your victims. What will my victim do next? Trying to sort of figure it out with the mind, what the victim will do next, what the target will do next. And the problem is that there's not logic, because the forces that are magical, for example, remote influencing, remote viewing, these kinds of things, they're not really logical. They work with kind of pictorial impressions. They don't work with the logical mind. The logical mind isn't really purposeful anyway. The logical mind just sort of is a lot of noise. Seeing things in a pattern and then trying to explain the pattern is fine. But just trying to take things solely from logic, trying to understand love with logic is just ridiculous, because that doesn't work, because love is not logical. It's hormonal, and hormones are not logical at all. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to go insane. It's supposed to go nuts. Otherwise, who would go through all that? Who would have a child? Who would get married if it was all just, logical? Nobody would do that. There has to be another force. Okay, so now Mercury is going to help you with this issue in November, because the exaltation of Mercury is the mind. But there are many different parts of the mind. There's right brain and left brain. There's logic and intuition, and there's the pineal and the pituitary, and who's, done proper things to stimulate these areas of the brain. And, Mercury will give rise to logic, as Hanael transmitted, over desire, and justice over choice. But you don't know where somebody's Mercury resides, and that's their mind. And if you don't know where their Mercury resides, you're going to be in big trouble. So you better know where that placement in their chart is, okay? Would-be lovers and saviors are seeking much advice in November from those who can see clearly through the storm, finding a way through and out of calamitous circumstance and contemptuous situations. Luck is made available by the gods, and the mighty Zeus releases Poseidon from his watery dungeon, bidding Hades to release the bulls of the house of Taurus, cleansed by the fires of 7 months past. The mighty seed of the rune stone Fehu races forward and charges the goat in a frenzied stampede of like-minded species. The goats and sheep, like in Chinese astrology, a goat and sheep can be interchanged. So a goat can very easily turn into a sheep and vice versa, yeah? So again, be very careful with some of these things. Very, very careful. You're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble if you don't be very careful this month. Opportunity is knocking. It is knocking for you, though. And there is always a way through the storm clouds, brewing steadily from the fires of war and the promise of luxury. November is a good time to remember that although money can buy the paraphernalia of love, it cannot buy the thing in and of itself. For that is attained with deed and cooperation, buttressed by much friendship, camaraderie, and eons of time. The goat may think that it is essential to have choice of loves always and forever, as most of us do, leading to much freedom and happiness. That's all people want. They want freedom and happiness. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. You will find quite the contrary to be true, nevertheless, Capricorn. If true love is what you need, then you must make the choice you know will bring you just that. All things are born of their kind. So whatever you are choosing will bring you exactly that choice. Nothing more and nothing less. People are what they are. And although some wiggle room is found in all life when exposed to enough light, systems are set into place very early on in life, as you are so often fond of saying, Capricorn. It is true. You have to get people started off right when they're young. That's very true. And that's something the goat is very good at. Money matters prove to be all over the place in November, Capricorn. The goat is just having an outpouring this month when it comes to money and finance matters. Business as usual is always preferable, of course, but new ideas and new ways of doing things undermine the will of those who want things the way they used to be. It's a brave new world where justice and compassion is very important. Find their way back into the grand scheme of things. It's no longer a world run by the enablers, but it's a new form of the old world, where an eye costs an eye and a tooth costs a tooth for all beings. There is no longer a need to sacrifice the innocent. The new eon, now firmly in place, of Aquarius, with Saturn as the ruler, which also is ruling over you, it calls in the sacrifice of the guilty. For why should the innocent lambs like Jesus be sacrificed? Should not Judas Iscariot be held responsible instead for his treachery and betrayal? Of course. Punish the guilty, not the innocent. Duh. They say no one says life is fair. But Capricorn begs to differ. Life should be fair, and it will be if I have anything to say about it. Over the ages, human persons have tried to make some sense of things. They have attempted to understand each other's behavioral attitudes, modifying the patterns to the end of commerce devoid of love, seen as superior to any compassion, right? All other creatures in the universe, created by the Prime Exaltrix, in cooperation with the Prime Exalted, are prone to the irrational behavior of love, which of course has no logic put to it, which we mentioned before. Rather, this is an overrun, plagued by pathological symptoms of ludicrous gropings, in the vain attempt to reach a higher state of mind as well as body. The amorphous bodies are unwilling and unable to reach states of abundant altars due to their inability to congeal into the alchemical wedding of spirit and matter. When those who do business are lucid and clear intention, it's very important, lucid and clear intention, complete cohesiveness between you and your money, yourself and your business, your intention and your reality become one in the same, where the goat's work is in constant similitude with the martial aspects of a fierce mind. Now here, the teachings of J.J. Hurtak, where he had mentioned for years in his writings that the book wasn't written, the The keys of Enoch weren't written for an individual, but were written for groups of people like doctors or lawyers or scientists or these people, whatever, whatever discipline one is in. Any group of individuals, whether it be a religious group, whether it be a group of mothers against this or that and the other thing, or mothers, soccer moms, or whatever group of people it is, that it's for groups of people. And at the time, a while back, I thought, well, that's disappointing. But now I understand it, as we've all learned why groups are necessary, that we're not here to correct others, we're here to correct ourselves, but we're here to correct ourselves within a group. So we have to find a group where we can, in a somewhat safe environment, correct ourselves. And others can correct themselves in a somewhat safe environment. That doesn't mean it's free of debate, but that means but where debate is safe. Because how can one become intelligent if one doesn't allow a little bit of debate? Continuing with Hanael's transmission. Capricorn. The fervent, unstoppable will meets the immovable object of trade and barter, carving out a piece of mind stuff in a cookie-cutter fashion that is just the right size and shape for your vessel of intention to bring you the most perfect and delightful answer to your dreams, Capricorn. This brings us to the runestone seed of Sowilo. That again is going in the exact opposite direction you would normally have it proceed. This is due to an added again milieu plus ignoring tedious observation equals what's the use knowledge. Be very, very mindful that what's the use is not a good idea according to Louise Hay and Heal Your Body book. That's a very important book, and that's right here. Equation used by the goat to study the behavior of all creatures, then employing a subsequent attempt to absorb the proverbial bullet, so that both the potency of the goat and those cared for are safe. Their intentions are basically parental instincts, which are very honorable, obviously. However, just be mindful that what's the use is not good for you nor anyone you care about, because it's not healthy. Okay. This is quite necessary to forgo any conclusions that the will here discussed is in any way malleable to anything other than planetary influences set in constant motion by the higher powers of prime creatrix and prime creator who exist in the shadow of prime exalter and prime exaltrix. Okay, health matters, my favorite, are exhilarating, if not precarious for the goat in November. The runestone seed number 1 of Fehu rushes towards the allocation of newfound freedom, bestowed from the reserves of biotech, readied for those who would grab the holographic ring of transhumanism. If Virgin America Airlines can fly the upper echelons to the moon and beyond, and they have, and they do, and they will, then why not give those who remain on planet a new toy such as holographic entertainment? By the same token, Capricorn, physicians can now begin to rival nature by mimicking her so well. Those in need of true healing of body and brain can gain just that. Miracles can be attained by simple, unrelenting faith in divine providence, or it can be gotten by the provisions of the mind of man. Humans have come to Earth to combine the DNA of Cain and Abel, to deliver a new faith and religion to mankind where both consciousness called soul, and purpose called spirit is found infused inseparably into matter, granting immortality to those who desire and merit such a state of being. The goat will find that the entire month of November is very exciting indeed, as a result of new passion and going for it. Enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday. Seasonal dinners and events Capricorn usually is too busy to attend. Enjoy the turkey, mashed potatoes, and cranberry sauce. And don't forget the pumpkin pie for your health, vitality, vim, and vigor. Be wise, be well, be all you are meant to be, Capricorn. Your divine tone of I use realizes your full power in November. Just be mindful, maybe, rather than careful, and it will serve you well. Thank you for joining us, Capricorn, and join us again next month. Oh, by the way, rather than don't stand in hell's way, this month it's don't stand in heaven's way.